So, my Shorts channel went viral in just 7 days, and I want to show you that it wasn't just luck. In this video, I'm starting completely fresh with a new channel and aiming to go viral again within 7 days. The best part? You can do this too. But to make it work, we need to start with the basics, picking a niche. I've already decided on mine, SpongeBob. Now I know what you might be thinking. SpongeBob is just for kids, right? But hear me out. I came across a channel that's all about SpongeBob content, and their shorts are racking up crazy views. That got me curious, but instead of copying what's already out there, because let's be honest, there's a ton of that, I did some digging. On TikTok, I noticed a trend around SpongeBob fan theories, and the views on these are just insane. Then I checked YouTube and saw the same kind of demand across both shorts and long-form videos. That's when it hit me. We could carve out our own unique niche by taking these viral fan theories and turning them into mini episodes, complete with AI voiceovers of SpongeBob characters. This approach isn't just about hopping on a trend, it's about putting a creative spin on it. I've used AI voiceovers before for another channel, and it worked really well, so I'm confident this idea can perform just as strongly. Let's make it happen. Previously, I used AI voiceovers for a channel focused on football players, and it worked really well, so I don't see why this idea of SpongeBob fan theories wouldn't perform just as great. Now, to get started, I'll be using an old YouTube account that was active in the past. Using a channel that's at least a week old can make a big difference in getting views. Since this account already meets that criteria, we just need to update a few things. First up, the name. I like to keep channel names relevant to the niche, so I'm going with Bikini Bottom Stories because, well, SpongeBob lives in Bikini Bottom. Once that was settled, it was time to create some quick channel branding. I recommend spending no more than 15 minutes on this part. I ended up taking a little longer, 18 minutes. But here's the result. The banner looks like this, and the profile picture looks like this. Pretty simple, but it does the job. Starting from scratch like this is always a humbling experience. Every time I begin a new channel, it's from zero. There are no shortcuts or hidden tricks. It's all about using what you've learned, experimenting, and putting in the effort. And the best part? Everyone has the same opportunity. This process is truly a level playing field. Growing a channel really comes down to having the experience and knowledge, and the only way to get that is by trying things out, experimenting, and learning what works. That's why I recommend picking a niche you're excited about and just going for it. Even if it doesn't work right away, you'll learn so much from the process and eventually it will click. Now it's time to get serious, creating our first short. This is the most important step because it's how we'll go viral. For this, I started by speed running the process. I found a fan theory script on TikTok and used it as the foundation. Of course, I had to rewrite it creatively to make it sound like it was coming from SpongeBob's perspective, which made it unique and fun. Once the script was ready, I moved into editing. First, I generated a SpongeBob voiceover, so much easier than you'd think. Then, I headed back to TikTok to source clips. TikTok is such an underrated goldmine for faceless content because a lot of the clips are already edited and ready to use. I stitched everything together, adding some fun, SpongeBob-style transitions to keep it engaging. Finally, I wrapped it all up with sound effects and captions. The whole process took just under 2 hours. Not bad for a first attempt, especially since I'm still refining the workflow. When you're creating your first short in a new niche, the process can feel a bit time-consuming, but that's totally normal. Everything is new, and you're figuring it out as you go. The effort is worth it because you're laying the foundation for high-quality content. Now it's time to put my money where my mouth is, uploading the first short. I gave the video a relevant title, reworded it slightly for the description, and added the hashtag #NarsShorts. Then, I made sure to mark the content as not made for kids to avoid being placed in YouTube Kids, which could limit its reach. For tags, I chose keywords that relate to SpongeBob and the topic, which are especially important when you're just starting out. And now we wait. Fast forward to day 2, and we've already gotten over 12,000 views, an awesome result for the first 24 hours. Even better, the short brought in over 100 new subscribers. While that might sound like a lot, it's actually pretty average for unique content that stands out. When you create something that viewers can't find anywhere else, they're more likely to subscribe because they want more. It's a great sign we're heading in the right direction. The short is still gaining views, so I'm holding off on uploading the next one for now. Every time you upload a short, you want to make sure the previous one has had enough time to maximize its reach. For instance, this short could still climb to 50,000 views, so it's really a waiting game over the next day or two to see if it flatlines. Once the views plateau, that's the perfect time to create and upload the next one. This concept of letting a short breathe is something I've found to be super effective. It's all about timing and giving each video the space to reach its full potential before adding more content into the mix. By pacing your uploads like this, you can make sure every short gets the attention it deserves. By day 3, the short was still gaining traction and had reached 16,000 views. I hadn't started working on the next one yet because the first short hadn't flatlined. It was still performing well. Something I really want to point out is the retention stats. Even though the short was 41 seconds long, we had an average view duration of 36 seconds, which is fantastic. Retention like this is one of the biggest factors in making a short go viral. For the next short, I'm planning to aim closer to the 59-second maximum length. Longer shorts can boost retention even more, which will improve their chances of going viral. Fast forward to day 6. I got sidetracked with some other projects, but I'm back and ready to get things moving again. The good news is that the first short had finally flatlined, so it was the perfect time to create the second one. This time, I wasted no time and jumped straight into the process. The script only took about 15 minutes to write since I'd chosen a popular topic, the Krabby Patty formula. From there, it was straight into editing. I generated the voiceover, brought it into my editing software, and got to work. Editing felt smoother this time around since I already had a process in place. It's amazing how much faster things get once you've done it a couple of times. This short was shaping up to be even better than the first one, and I was excited to see how it would perform. Sticking to topics that are widely appealing, like the Krabby Patty formula, made this short feel like it had a lot of potential. I made sure the hook was strong, the pacing was engaging, and the overall quality was top-notch. Let's see how it does. For this second short, I sourced most of my clips from YouTube since the topic required specific scenes from SpongeBob episodes. In Premiere Pro, I added sound effects, transitions, and captions, and it all came together in about an hour and a half. There's always a great feeling of accomplishment when you finish editing, especially when you think the short has real viral potential. This time, I focused on crafting a strong hook. It's believable, immediately sets up the fan theory, and is paired with the perfect clip to match. For example, it starts with a bold claim. "Mr. Krabs, I know the secret ingredient for the Krabby Patty." It grabs attention and keeps viewers curious. This short is longer too, 49 seconds compared to the first one, which should help us get a higher average view duration. A longer AVD is key for virality on YouTube Shorts. Plus, the topic, the Krabby Patty formula, has a much broader appeal compared to the first short, which was about SpongeBob getting married. I'm really excited to see how this one performs. We're about to find out how this second short performs. I'm feeling a little nervous because, honestly, this entire video you're watching hinges on whether this short goes viral or not. If it flops and gets 0 views, I'll definitely look a bit silly. But hey, let's see in the next few days if this idea actually pans out. Now let me take a quick pause for a sponsored segment. If you have a merch store or sell digital products online, I highly recommend checking out .store domains. Creators like Mr. Beast and iShowSpeed use these domains because they make it super easy for fans to find your merch. Instead of long, confusing links, your domain will be short and sweet, making it easier for your audience to find your brand. You can grab your custom domain for just $1 through the link in the description. Alright, back to day 7. It's been 1 day since I uploaded the second short, and I've got some great results to share. As you can see, this one is performing better than the first. I'll dive into the analytics to show you exactly what's going on. As we dive into the analytics, it's looking really positive. Just like our first short, this one got a nice push into the algorithm, and after the first 24 hours, the views started to go exponential. I'm no stranger to this kind of growth. Every viral short I've had in the past follows a similar breakout pattern. For example, on my previous channel, the view chart started out like this, and it ended up getting over 10 million views. So you can imagine I'm super excited to see where this one will go. In addition to the views, this short has brought in 69 new subscribers, which is a bit lower than the first one, but still solid. The average view duration, AVD, is also a little lower than the first short, but that's expected since this one is just under 50 seconds long. I'm hopeful that, as it gets more views, this number will rise. Our first short is still flatlining, which is totally fine, but one thing I really want to highlight is the comments section. You can see how much engagement we're getting there, which is awesome. Now, I'm not saying that more comments directly correlate with more views. That's not how it works. But it does show that we're connecting with the right audience, and that's always a good sign. It's definitely a good sign that we're engaging with the right audience. Another really exciting thing, especially when we start thinking about monetizing, is the audience tab. When I checked the geographies, I saw that 50% of our viewers are from the United States. That's a huge deal because it means we'll be able to earn a very high RPM, revenue per mila, once we start monetizing. And what's even better is that the top 4 countries are all typically high paying when it comes to ads. Just like with the first short, I'm going to let this one breathe a bit and see how it performs over time. We're now on day 12, which means we're past the first 7 days, but don't worry, the hard work was all done during that initial week. The short is still doing really well, with 43,000 views so far. It's been consistently pushed into the algorithm every hour, with some hours reaching as high as 1,000 views, while others have had as low as 80. This kind of movement is exactly what we want to see. As expected, the growth is exponential, and the view chart is looking really promising. Even better, our AVD has increased as the views have rolled in, which is another great sign for long-term performance. All in all, things are looking very positive, and I'm honestly really excited to see where this short will go next. I'm really curious to see how this short will perform over the next few days because, based on everything I've seen so far, I'm pretty confident it's heading for hundreds of thousands of views. But, as luck would have it, our channel got hit with one of the worst notifications you can receive on YouTube, an age restriction. This means that our content is now limited to YouTube Kids, which really limits our reach. Let me show you the impact this had on our views. After the age restriction, our views completely flatlined after hitting 50,000 views, and our views per hour have basically dropped to 0. The good news is that I can appeal this decision, and I will because honestly I didn't create this content just for kids. I've seen similar fan theory content on platforms like TikTok and YouTube that definitely aren't just for a younger audience, and I'm confused why this one was flagged. I've already submitted the appeal, so now it's a waiting game to see if YouTube will reverse their decision. Unfortunately, the appeal was rejected. But here's the silver lining. Despite the age restriction, the short ended up getting over 200,000 views once it was eventually pushed back into the shorts feed. It wasn't the smoothest ride, but the views still came in. Honestly, I felt like this short had so much potential. The initial movement after the first 24 hours was promising, and it quickly pushed past 50,000 views. But for me, 200,000 views in 7 days just isn't the level I aim for. I always plan for my shorts channels to hit millions of views in the first week. That said, whether you're in a situation like this or struggling to get any views at all, there's always a silver lining. Even if your channel flops, you're gaining valuable experience. You'll be able to look back and reflect. Was your niche too competitive or oversaturated? Did you use retention techniques effectively when editing your shorts? These are the types of questions you should ask yourself, and the answers will help you improve moving forward. What I learned from this experience is that if you're creating content that could potentially be seen as aimed at children, you absolutely need to mention that in your channel description. I've noticed that larger channels with similar content have been doing this, and it's a key part of avoiding issues like age restrictions. It's all a learning process, and you'll keep improving with every step.